The row over school buildings in the UK is escalating. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is under heavy pressure, with some accusing him of ignoring the repairs when Sunak was serving as the UK's Chancellor. According to some former officials at the Department of Education, in 2020 and 2021, a request to fund work of more than 300 schools was slashed down to below the 100 mark. And the decision was taken by Sunak's Treasury. The officials, while speaking to British media, claim that the Treasury slashed down their requests despite presenting evidence that deterioration in reinforced autoclaved aerated concrete poses a critical risk to life. Number 10 has rejected all the claims. This comes after the UK's Education Secretary, Gillian Keegan, was caught on camera while making foul statements. The comments were made when the cameras continued rolling after a formal interview was over. However, later on, she apologized for her remark and language. According to a report by the Institute for Fiscal Studies think tank, the average capital spending on school buildings is down by around a quarter since the mid-2000s, and the mark is below 50% when compared to the spending budget of 2010. Sunak has stressed on the point that the threat is limited to just hundreds of schools and not thousands, while adding that 95% of those schools won't be impacted by the crisis. The Labour Party has accused the Tory government of trying to limit their responsibility. Several schools in England are on the verge of closing buildings as they fear an aerated concrete is prone to collapse. This comes just days before the new term starts in the country. Officials from the Education Ministry claim that there is potential collapse risk of the material with time. The ministry began warning about the risk in 2018. The material, reinforced autoclaved aerated concrete, was widely used for school and college constructions from the 1950s to the mid-1990s. Reports suggest that more than 150 schools and colleges contain RAAC. This also comes at a time as millions of students in England are returning to schools after their summer holidays. And for more on this, our correspondent Julia Chapman has sent us this report from London.
Well, the government says that new information came to light only the week before last, but that has been disputed by those that have been involved in trying to understand how many schools in this country have this particular type of concrete and how much of it might be at risk of collapse. A survey was sent out to schools across the country in 2022. Not every school returned that survey, asking whether there was this type of concrete being used. But we do know now that at least 156 schools have confirmed that they contained it. Most of those were confirmed many months ago, but the government insists that they didn't believe that it was a dangerous situation until news came a couple weeks ago that a beam had collapsed in a building, and we don't know whether it was a school or a different kind of building, which had been using this kind of concrete, leading to fears that all of these buildings could be at imminent risk, and the last-minute announcement that some school buildings would have to close just before term began. Now, that has still led to a huge amount of criticism from teachers' unions, from parents, from school leaders who are trying to grapple with this situation.
WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.